mixed almost like facts you hear growing up. I know in like my 8th grade health class, they showed us like the traditional food pyramid where like it's like bread is like one of the main sources, but then there's so many like mixed opinions and mixed like data or research you hear where like carbs are bad, carbs are okay, and like limited, like don't eat bread, eat bread. So I think it's like a lack of consensus on what resources and what data to trust, or like what is real, what's being influenced by food industry, things like that.
I'll piggyback off of what Ali was saying. I think about commercialized livestock, and specifically with cows, and how we were told with that pyramid we need to have this many type of dairy products in a daily diet. What I tried to go with is, if there's 32 teeth and only 2 of them are canine, we're obviously omnivores. And not only that, but we need to really be chewing up our food and have it be more like grass-based. And within that, you'll notice that, from like a vegetarian or vegan diet, it puts your body in a less pH or a less acidic mode, which has totally positive implications with cancer and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I'll let somebody else speak.
I think at this point you're going to end up having to define healthy. So, because there's different aspects of health. So when we start talking about being healthy, are we talking about cardiovascular health? Are we talking about dietary health? Are we talking about, because there's dozens of different ways to be able to depict how an individual is healthy. You could have somebody that their circulatory system, because they never get any cardio, is absolutely horrible, but their diet's great. That still isn't going to make them healthy. So I think that you have to, at this point, define what is healthy.
I just want to add that, like, building off of everything that's been said, that too much of a good thing is poison, or whatever the phrase is. Like, it's really true that there's really like kind of this narrow, it's not that narrow, but there's like this window where you don't want to have too much or too little of what you need, both in terms of nutrition and everything else, and how there's 2 minutes, it can be a very like narrow distinction between health and disease, or like when something, when do we consider it to be say like a disorder. And if we look at like the social model of disability, then it really is situation and environmental dependent. And so something that might be unhealthy in a certain environment will be perfectly healthy in another.
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of Emma's point, thinking about that, how like different people's environments dramatically shape like the diets and then the lifestyle that they're able to live. It makes me think of how different like societies, different groups of people might have different standards for what's considered healthy versus unhealthy, and how like maybe the ideas that are associated that come from like a Western model of what is considered healthy is not necessarily compliant with like the cultural or like lived experiences of people that come from, a different societal standards. And so it really makes me think like, the standards that we place specifically like in our country, are they actually like truly healthy for people, or is it a requirement to consider like how the best, I guess, ways in which we're able to live? Do we have to impose those things and those standards on all the people who are present in that society? Hopefully that's not too lofty of a idea.
I'll just add something real quick. I think Jason kind of hit it on the head. It's how you define it. However, there's another aspect too, that is, it's about imaging ourselves. So like we see athletes who are incredibly, or like in incredible shape, models who just look perfect. And we think that there's some sort of like, we got to get to that to be healthy too. So it's, it's kind of like images of what we see around us that also give us mixed feelings about what it means to be healthy.
Societal depiction of health is not necessarily health.
Okay, so our timer has gone off. So I'm going to I'm going to take a